Right. Okay. Hello. Welcome. I am about to take another deep dive into the developer experience of something I've never used before. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I'm doing and why. And after that, then let's go. So, my name is Jason. I do work in developer experience. And so I'm really interested in what the onboarding experience is like with different technical products that are aimed for a software developer. And so I am going to be, kind of reviewing something, but in a slightly different perspective. So I'm going to be, looking at it through the lens of, hey, what could be better in some cases that was maybe causing me some delay in getting started or learning about a new tool or technology that I could use in my day-to-day work. But I also want to recognize some of the hard work that goes into creating these experiences. A lot of times we devote all of our attention to making the product itself, whether it's an SDK, a library, or a web application. That sometimes we don't think about what that onboarding experience is enough. But if you periodically go and do an end-to-end test, it's a really good way of figuring out how things are. So, anyways, the point is, I am going to be sort of free form talking about what I'm seeing, and sometimes I may have a very confused look on my face, and that's just authentically what's happening. But my goal is to be kind, and certainly, if we get a couple people viewing. And you have perspectives you want to share about the thing I'm looking at, feel free to put it in the chat, but or add a comment afterwards because this will be recorded. But point being, be kind, please. This is the hard work of other people. If you do see something, look at it with the spirit of, hey, this could be better, and here's what I'd suggest. Um, Generally speaking, overall, I am basically looking at what is the time to get to hello world. That's common KPI. And there was sort of this idea that 3:33, 3 seconds to understand what an API is, 30 seconds to find an entry point, 3 minutes to create an account, execute a call, and use the result. That feels very aggressive. I don't think 3 minutes is enough time. So I will be probably more like a half hour at least, depending on whether someone told me you must go use this tool or technology, or if I'm evaluating three alternatives. Hey, do I want to use A, B, or C? I'm still going to spend more than 3 minutes or 30 minutes even evaluating it, truth be told. But those first 3 minutes will certainly leave an impression. So that is the spirit of this. I've gone into these topics a little bit more in depth in blog posts and other versions of these types of shows on what friction logging is in Customer Zero. But basically, that's why I'm streaming this. I am intending to get a recording for myself. So rather than taking screenshots or taking notes, copying error messages, or writing down reproduction steps, I have a recording here so I can kind of go back and see what the experience actually was like. And so that's the idea. What's happening here? What is it that makes a product hard to use? And that's what I'm exploring. So with that spirit of 3:33, I am doing it 3:30 p.m. Pacific time. So 6:30 p.m. if you're on the East Coast of the United States, or other inconvenient times if you're elsewhere in the world, basically. So they are recorded, so you can watch this later. And if you are watching this later, thanks. So anyways, I'm sending it both to Twitch and YouTube, partially as a learning experience. I am looking at LinkedIn Live as well, if I'm ready to go a little bit more public with this. So I do have a website, developerxp.com, that really is just a schedule. It's actually a test bed for a few ideas I'm working on. And so you're not really going to find a whole lot there, but you can see some of the schedule and everything, or contact information if you want to reach out to me. I am looking at something called Enzyme today. I really actually know very, very little about it. So this may be a short show, or might create a whole rabbit hole of things for me to look through. But I also have been looking for content management, headless CMS type solutions. So Contentful, been familiar with for quite a long time, but have just never used. So I'm going to go give it a try. And then Supabase, likewise, has gotten a lot of really good buzz. I have not used it on any projects, so I want to evaluate and see if I want to use it on my next one. So, with that out of the way, tighten that up a little bit from an intro perspective. So, hopefully, we can go ahead and get started. So, I'm going to mostly focus on a web browser here. Um, I'll make it a little bit bigger if I can to make it easier to read. Um, there we go. Um, but enzyme. So the reason I'm interested in this, and I'm going to get a lot of false results here for the moment. I'll have to add some more clarity, but um, I think this was something I heard of in the context of AI tools, specifically tools to help with development. So I forget which category enzyme was in, to be perfectly honest, other than it's probably in that generational or generating generative AI. So that's what I'm looking at right now, basically. So I'm going to go ahead and maybe just add AI to it to sort of see if that helps. And so my guess is that it is this enzyme.com. I would not have guessed if that was the URL, but software covers the key components. Well, maybe not. ISO standards and product development lifecycle. I don't think that's what I'm looking for. Um, AI predicts enzyme function better than leading tools. Okay, so that's again very specific. So maybe even um, let's try code. Nope, that's gonna give me a lot of false positives. So yeah, so this is an interesting dilemma in some ways. A lot of times I hit the match right away, but sometimes I might be in an event. Someone says, "Oh, this tool or that tool," and I kind of make a mental note to go check on it later. And if I end up with a misspelling or anything, could be an issue. So, and I think that's what we're seeing here. Enzyme. I don't know. I thought maybe it's a documentation generation. Maybe that was the context I heard it in. GitHub pages enzyme.js. No, that's a test framework for React. That's not it. Um, maybe it is this. Let's go take a peek and let's see. Intuitive document management that doesn't lock you in. Provides everything you expect in document management software, drafting, reviewing, approving, and obsoleting documentation while letting you edit in the tool of your choice. Okay. This could be what I was, so let's take another, if I go generative AI tool landscape developers, document with AI, swim.io. I'm pretty sure it was something like this that I saw, some sort of one of those memes fly by, and I was like, oh, I am actually looking for something in a particular category. So let's say down here in the code space, enzyme, web app builder called enzyme, and it looks like that. So this is it. Okay. So this is being categorized. In another show, I did look at to build. You'll have to go find that one on your own if you're interested in what my takeaways there were. But I have not looked at durable. So it's enzyme. It's this one. So it is enzyme.com. But it's a web app builder, right? So like if I think about what you know again, this is nothing more than a SvelteKit app that's more or less just sending some static text that's from a markdown file. So nothing fancy here. So hence the idea of, hey, maybe I do want to build my web app, or let an AI build it for me. Sounds appealing, but let's go ahead and work. So this is category a QMS. Am I an idiot? I don't know. I mean, maybe that's a separate question, but I don't know what QMS is. The only QMS as innovative as you. CFR Part 11 compliant. Also, I mean, I would say this is probably marketing very targeted, and maybe I'm not part of the target audience because I don't know what that is. I would have to investigate a little bit more to figure that out. But yeah, I don't have any background on that. Um, so there are some companies here listed as users, which this feels like I've stepped into an alternate world somewhat because I'm not familiar with any of these folks either. Um, Life sciences. Okay, so QMS, that must be quality management system, services medical, digital health, and biopharma companies. What? What does this have to do with web app builder for generative AI? That's interesting. All right, well, we'll keep exploring a little bit more, but like this does feel like very, so this would be an example of maybe 333 in that very quickly I'm to the point of thinking this is not what I'm here looking for. That this isn't going to fit my needs. If I was thinking web app builder, maybe if I was in the healthcare space, then it suddenly is useful. But if I'm not, it's sort of suggesting I don't belong here. Um, yeah. I mean, the document control, I mean, it's a different type of document, right? In terms of, like documentation, like technical documentation, this is a different purpose. Um, Change control training. Yeah. I'm not seeing a whole lot here that I'm going to be able to work with. Um, so it is a local company in the San Francisco Bay Area. So it's local for me, I should say. Um, I don't know. Let's see what they're writing about on their blog, just out of curiosity. So here's AI. So it may be more of a question of, yeah, whoever created these generative AI to really hype up the AI space is including companies that maybe don't fit. You know, I mean, other than the fact that, I mean, AI has been around for quite some time, but like I would say, this does not fit into the a new tool that I could use for software development, which is again, I feel very misleading in terms of how it was built. So it's again, enzyme, AI, code, generative AI landscape. Let's go look at that images again. And again, I guess this is a don't believe everything you hear on the internet for sure. Um, yeah. Let's see how many of these this company shows up in. I'd be curious. Right. So here's, I don't know. Maybe that it was like one of these, right? That maybe crossed into LinkedIn, somebody really excited about, code development. So here it is again. This one has enzyme. This wasn't the one we looked at before, right? Although this one looks like it has the same company, but a few more. Um, is this another one that has enzyme in it somewhere? What about this one? Code. Yeah. Okay. This one, maybe here's where it gets confused. Maybe somewhere along the way, someone said enzyme, but then they got the wrong logo. Either way, this is starting, so there's a couple of things this tells me already, though, right? In that if I were evaluating a tool, I'm probably putting in a lot more work than I would in a normal situation at this point. So here's enzyme. It actually looks like a different logo. So I might be looking more for that company. So let's see if I can figure out what they are and if they still exist. What was the thing I was noticing with some of the other ones? Enzyme code generator. Haha. Okay, so this is a Web3 thing. Here we go. Hundreds of smart contracts for pretty much anything ready to be deployed. All right, so here we are. How long did it take to even find the right product if I just came from an event and someone said, "Hey, you need to go check out Enzyme. It can help you build web applications faster." Um, without a whole lot of details, I definitely ended up in the wrong place. And some of these, this one at least had the right logo, but some of these other ones had the logo of a completely different company, and a different space, which makes it super confusing. So I really was in the wrong space over there. Now that said, do so here's another part of, you know, it becomes a question of, do I want to use this tool and do I have whatever assumed knowledge is necessary in order to use it? So I got here and it's, are you a Web3 creator? Um, which is kind of weird because, can I answer yes or no? Or is it just, I don't know what that's, but that's actually a weird to me call to action. Empower the builders and Web3. Join us in shaping the future with our call to creators program. Um, oh, okay. Let's get rid of that then. So, what are you looking to create? So I can see, okay, is this generating something new? Or are these like templates that you can use? Um, and then, the other side of this, clearly this is positioned for Web3. Um, I am probably on the cynical side of the technology adoption for Web3. I have not done much in the space yet, or decentralized web or any of that. For the most part, I've seen it associated with currencies and wallets, which this also does nothing to dissuade me from. Um, and so, if I'm not in fintech, this is not of it's just not a project I've worked on before. Um, but I do like this for what it's worth. Who is it for? Brands, creators, agencies, and developers all come together on Zenzyme to discover and build great Web3 projects. Our goal is to give them superpowers by making it incomparably easy to launch modern apps or cross integrate with existing ones. I feel like this is too broad personally because I have a feeling the type of app I want to create is not the app here that they mean. Enzyme works with, here are a bunch of logos. I'm not sure how many of these I recognize. Are these all okay? I'm looking at what I'm doing is I'm actually just hovering over, trying to look at the URL and see if these are any that I recognize, or have used. So, launch your Web3 project in just a few clicks. Connect your wallet. So I think this is yeah. So this is where I come in and say like, okay, um, this is not the app that I'm trying to build. Like, no, the app I'm trying to build does not require a wallet, nor does it require me to have a wallet. Um, so in that sense, it is done a service, and it's told me that this is not something I need. Um, but smart contract securely with ease. So I guess that's you know digital work. Yeah. It all depends on what you're trying to create. So this might work as a great tool for something, but a no code tool to design and launch smart contracts without writing. I like this description for what it's worth. Like, this is to the point. of what it is, whereas the other statement made it sound like it could do more different types of things, and maybe someday it will. But yeah, I think this is not for me. So so for web application development, this does not, unless it is a smart contract based application, and then even then, I don't know what it's going to create for me. Maybe it'll generate some of the code for the contract itself, and then I build the rest of the application. Just says no blockchain experience is needed, but I feel like you have to know something, or have some more context here of, or that you're trying to build or have tried to build something else before that falls into this category. So, yeah, it would be tempting to go and see what the sign up flow is like, just to see, there might be some really cool, innovative things they're doing here. That would be worth considering for other projects, but I think I just don't have a use case for this. So sometimes that happens. It might be a tool that's perfectly fine for someone else, but not for me. So I'm going to stop belaboring the point and say thanks for joining. Curious if anyone else has had really good experiences with this, or what some of the alternatives are in the space. If so, leave a comment or whatever. For someone else who might stumble upon this and find the information you can share more useful, since I certainly got off the rails pretty quickly in trying to find the right website to begin with. So, all right. Thanks. Have a good time. Rest of your day. Tomorrow, I believe it was Contentful. So that one should be a little bit more hands-on, because I do actually have a project, and so I will start building a solution with Contentful tomorrow. All right. Thanks.